Have you ever been in a situation where someone is talking about food in English and you want to join the conversation, but you suddenly feel stuck because you don't know how to express simple ideas naturally? Maybe you know basic words like rice, bread, or chicken, but when it comes to describing taste, feelings, or opinions, your mind goes blank. If this sounds familiar, don't worry, because today we are going to fix that in a very simple and practical way. In this video, we are going to talk about food in English, but not in a boring textbook way. We will learn how real people naturally talk about food in daily life, so you can sound more fluent, more confident, and more natural in conversations. Let's start with something simple. When native speakers of English talk about food in countries like the United States or the United Kingdom, they don't use complicated language. They say simple things like, "This tastes amazing," "This is really good," or "I love this dish." The secret is not big vocabulary. The secret is expressing feelings clearly. For example, instead of trying to find complex words, just focus on basic ideas like taste, texture, and opinion. If something is good, say it's delicious. If something is not very good, you can say it's okay, or it's not my favorite. These simple expressions are powerful because they are natural and easy to understand. Now let's go deeper into how to describe food like a fluent speaker. One important thing is learning taste words. These are simple words that help you explain food better. For example, sweet, salty, spicy, bitter, and sour. If you eat something, you can describe it in a full sentence like, "This soup is very spicy," or "This dessert is really sweet." You don't need advanced English. You just need to connect simple words in a clear way. This is what fluent speakers do naturally. They don't think too much. They just describe what they feel. Another important part of talking about food is giving opinions. Instead of just saying good or bad, you can upgrade your sentences slightly to sound more natural. For example, you can say, "I really like this because it's fresh," or "I don't like this much because it's too oily." Notice how simple these sentences are, but they still sound natural and expressive. This is what makes your English sound more confident. You are not trying to be complicated. You are just explaining your thoughts clearly. Now let's imagine a real-life conversation. You are sitting with a friend at a restaurant. They ask you, "How is the food?" Instead of freezing or thinking too much, you can simply say, "It's really good, I like it," or "It's nice, especially the sauce." If they ask you to describe it more, you can add one extra detail like, "It's a bit spicy, but I like spicy food." This kind of simple expansion is what makes your English sound natural and fluent. You are not memorizing sentences. You are building ideas step by step. Here is another powerful tip. Fluent speakers often use comparison when talking about food. For example, "This pizza is better than the one I had yesterday," or "This coffee is stronger than usual." Comparison is a very natural way to speak because it shows opinion and experience at the same time. It also makes your English sound more conversational and less robotic. You don't need complex grammar for this. Just use better than, more than, or less than, and you are already speaking like a confident communicator. Now let's talk about something very important: confidence. Many learners feel nervous when speaking about food because they think they need perfect sentences. But in reality, food conversations are one of the easiest topics in English. Why? Because there is no right or wrong answer. If you say, "I like pizza," it is correct. If you say, "I don't like spicy food," it is also correct. This removes pressure from your mind. The goal is not perfection. The goal is communication. When you understand this, your confidence automatically increases. Another useful habit is thinking in English while eating. For example, when you eat breakfast, you can quietly describe it in your mind. I am eating eggs. This bread is soft. This tea is hot. This simple habit trains your brain to connect English with real life. Over time, you stop translating from your native language and start thinking directly in English. This is a powerful step toward fluency because it makes your speaking faster and more natural. Let's also talk about restaurant conversations. When you go to a restaurant, you can practice simple English phrases like, "Can I have the menu, please?" "I would like this dish." Or "Can we get the bill, please?" These phrases are very common in real life, and using them correctly will immediately make you feel more confident. Even if your grammar is not perfect, people will understand you because these are natural expressions used by everyone. Now here is something interesting. Talking about food is also a great way to connect with people. If you say, "I love spicy food," someone might respond and share their opinion. Suddenly, you have a real conversation. English is not just about grammar. It is about connection. And food is one of the easiest topics to create connection because everyone eats. Let's add one more powerful idea. When you describe food, try to include emotion. Instead of only saying it's good, you can say, "I really enjoy this because it reminds me of home." Or "This tastes amazing. I feel happy eating it." Emotion makes your English sound more human and natural. It is not about perfection. It is about expression. So now, if we bring everything together, talking about food in English is actually very simple. You need basic vocabulary, simple sentence structures, and a little bit of confidence. You don't need to memorize difficult words or complex grammar rules. You just need to describe what you see, what you taste, and how you feel. That's it. And the more you practice, the more natural it becomes. So next time you eat something, don't just eat it. Try to think about it in English. Describe it. Talk about it. Share your opinion. Because every meal is not just food. It is also a chance to improve your English. And remember, fluency is not built in classrooms. It is built in everyday life, one small conversation at a time. Now let's just stay in that everyday life and talk more about food the way real people actually do, without thinking too much, just naturally describing things, moments, cravings, memories, and small details that make food feel alive in daily life. Because food is not just something we eat. It is something we experience every single day. For example, think about the first meal of the day. Breakfast is often simple, but it still has so many small details. Some people like toast with butter, some like parathas, some like eggs, some just drink tea or coffee and rush out of the house. And even these small breakfast choices say something about a person's day. Like when you take that first bite of warm toast, or sip hot tea in the morning, there is a quiet feeling of comfort. It is not just about taste, it is also about the mood of the morning. And then there are those mornings when you are in a hurry, and you don't really sit and enjoy your food. You just grab something quickly, maybe a sandwich, maybe a banana, maybe leftover food from the night before. And even that has its own feeling. It feels rushed but still necessary. Food becomes part of your routine, like brushing your teeth or checking your phone. It is just there, but still important. Now think about lunch. Lunch is different. Lunch is usually heavier, more filling. Some people eat rice with curry, some eat roti with vegetables, some eat noodles or pasta. And some people just go out and eat whatever is available nearby. And sometimes lunch is the best part of the day, especially when you are really hungry. That first bite of a proper meal after a long morning feels satisfying in a very simple way. You don't even need to think too much about it. You just feel it. There are also days when lunch is something special. Maybe you are eating outside with friends or family. Maybe you ordered something new you have never tried before. Like trying a new pizza with extra cheese, or a spicy burger with crispy fries, or a plate of biryani with rich spices and aroma that fills the air. And in those moments, food becomes more than just food. It becomes an experience. You remember the smell, the texture, the sound of people talking while eating, the laughter around the table. And speaking of food experiences, street food is something completely different. Street food has its own energy. It is fast, loud, colorful, and full of variety. You might see someone preparing spicy snacks on a hot pan, or someone serving fresh momos, or someone frying crispy samosas in bubbling oil. And the smell itself pulls you closer. Even if you are not hungry, you suddenly feel like eating something. Street food is not about sitting quietly. It is about standing, waiting, watching, and then eating quickly while it is hot. Sometimes you don't even remember what exactly you ate, but you remember how it felt, like holding a hot plate in your hand, or taking a bite and immediately feeling the spice, or dipping something into chutney and tasting that sharp, sweet, spicy mix. Street food is chaotic, but in a good way. It is not organized, but it is alive. Then there is dinner, which feels calmer compared to everything else. Dinner is usually the time when people slow down. They sit with family, or eat quietly after a long day. It is the moment when the day ends and food feels like comfort again. Maybe it is something simple like dal and rice, or maybe something special like pasta, grilled chicken, or homemade soup. Dinner is not rushed like breakfast or energetic like street food. It is peaceful. Sometimes, dinner is also the time when people talk about their day. While eating, they share small stories, funny moments, or even just silence with food on the table. And food becomes part of those memories without trying too hard. And then there are desserts, which honestly feel like a reward. After eating a full meal, something sweet always feels special. It can be ice cream, cake, chocolate, pudding, or even something simple like fruit. The first bite of something sweet after a meal feels different from everything else. It is like a final note that completes the experience. Ice cream, for example, is not just food. It is also emotion. On a hot day, it feels refreshing. On a bad day, it feels comforting. On a good day, it feels like celebration. A simple scoop of vanilla, chocolate, or strawberry can change the mood instantly. And sometimes people don't even talk while eating ice cream. They just enjoy it quietly. Cake is another interesting one. Cake is usually connected with celebrations. Birthdays, anniversaries, small achievements, or even random happy moments. Cutting a cake and sharing it with people feels like a small ritual of happiness. Everyone waits for that first slice. And the moment it is served, there is always a small excitement in the air. And chocolate is something different again. Chocolate is simple but powerful. It is something people eat when they are stressed, happy, bored, or just want something sweet. It does not need a reason. It just fits into almost every situation. Even snacks in between meals have their own personality. Chips, biscuits, nuts, popcorn. These are small things, but they carry moments of boredom, movie nights, late-night hunger, or casual conversations. Like when you are watching something and just keep eating without thinking, or when you are studying and suddenly want something to chew on. Snacks are not main meals, but they fill the gaps in between life. And then there is the idea of sharing food. Sharing food changes everything. When you eat alone, it is one experience. But when you share food with someone, it becomes something else. You taste a little of their food, they taste yours, and suddenly there is interaction. Even simple food tastes better when shared. It is not just about flavor, it is about connection.